Meanwhile, inside the Opera Epiclesis.
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of.
I mean, fair enough.
However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. Is that right? In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back.
Ooh.
Real disappointing.
Ooh. Fighting
Hey,
words.
don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case. This isn't the place for you to be looking for fights.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly, and we have made very little progress. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
That case had nothing to do with him. You've got the wrong man.
Huh? What's going on? Why is she interjecting again?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui Harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide the court with a key eyewitness. But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your interjections.
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless theatrics? We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default, correct?
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway, so I'll take you up on that offer. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like to charge instead?
That person is...
It's a suspect analysis. I guess we have to choose this. Combine the information, it did it Marcel. I mean, that's what we discussed before.
Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabriere.
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of them in my life.
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosula's sister organization?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the charge also means taking on the legal responsibilities associated with it. And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation. Knowing this, do you still wish to charge this man?
Yes, I do.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he may stand trial.
After some time, a shocked and confused Marcel is brought to the stands.
Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney. Is that correct?
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I still haven't figured out what's going on. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between me and Navia.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please present your charges.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of Callus the Unfaithful. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember, both you and I only ran to the scene when we heard the sound of a gun. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as well?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm struggling to remember some details of that case.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can explain my charge and reasoning.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage.
Maison Gardiennage. Oh my balls. Based on the opposition, you identify new polls, use evidence, include obtained during investigation to refute any erroneous assertion in fact and replace them with new inferences, not interferences. Using your reputation to convince the audience and obtain more support from the people, or will display such shift clearly. When you find and refute all incorrect content, you complete the cycle of reputation and reveal the truth. I wonder if, because it's my first time saying that.
On the day of the murder,
Anyway.
Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières.
Indeed.
During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard.
Indeed.
When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance, Jacques, lay dead from a gunshot wound.
Indeed.
The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the second must have taken Jacques' life.
Okay.
The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, he chose to prove his innocence through a duel. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clorand in the ensuing duel, and soon succumbed to the injuries.
Cloran. This is a Cloran. That's not Clorian. Cloran. Cloran. All right. That's Nivilet said Cloran, so I'm gonna have to remember Cloran.
These are the known facts about the case.
Facts? I mean, just because it's been concluded in trial doesn't make them fact, does it? I think. What's it? Like when someone's been, I guess, suspected, you know, there are like claims, right? Those are like claims, evidence. But when they've been charged, when the court has, or like when the procedure has ended, I forgot what it's called. Convicted, when the suspect, let's say the suspect in this case was convicted, when the suspect is convicted, then it makes all the evidence in the court like not exactly fact, but what we're gonna assume is real. But it doesn't mean that they're fact, right? That's how it works. I'm not sure. I'm not a lawyer. I don't freaking know. But I don't know if they're fact, known facts of the case.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had no reason to pull the trigger. In truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun from him. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into water, erasing all traces of him from the scene. Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course, the guard's conclusion appeared quite sensible to us at the time. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water from the primordial sea.
Okay, what did she just say? I think what she said was very important. On the day of the murder, banquet was owned by Cafier. 2 gunshots. All right, everything's blue. All right, everything is blue, which means there's probably loopholes in 4 of these. This, I don't think there's anything. So identify loopholes. I think, they're giving us a hint here because we see in the picture this Florent noticing gun was not taken. So maybe this is what we refute with, right?
Something's not right. Let me think for a little while longer.
Okay. Well, it's gonna be me thinking, not you thinking. Maybe there's nothing. Maybe there's nothing here. Maybe I don't think there's anything here. I don't think there's anything here actually. On a day, I think that makes sense. Identify loopholes. Not really. Okay, 2 gunshots. According to investigating, Cal had intention to murder Jacques for his betrayal. Alright, I think the loophole he did not carry his gun. So I think this is where we refute. I hate my life.
Right. Let me think for a little while longer.
Alright, well, self-defense, or maybe this is self-defense. What other information do I have? Closing of unknown person. That could be here. That could be here. Close of unknown person's here. I think this, or this. Okay, you know what? I think these, because they actually happen, and we're going with that story, we'll go with that story. But I think this could be refuted. It was certain that Cal did not bring a gun with him. Moreover, details of the case point to using a third person. So I think we can refute with 2, maybe? With both Florent and Primordial Seawater? We'll try it again.
Something's not right.
I suck at this video game.
Let me think for a little while longer.
Alright, well, maybe no intention to kill. Primordial water. I don't know. This is absolute. I don't know. I genuinely don't even know what I'm doing at this point, to be 100% honest with you all. Closing of unknown person here again. This has to be closing of unknown person here.
Something's not right.
I don't know. At this point, guys, we are just gonna click all of them because I literally do not know. I literally do not know. What am I supposed to put? No.
The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Callus when he set out for the banquet. However, in the end, he reconsidered and instead shared everything with Callus, hoping to seek the latter's protection. Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility and had sent out another assassin.
Okay. I hate this. This is terrible. I really do hate this. I really do hate this because I don't understand it. I'm just super bad at detective games apparently. This one has to be no, I think this is. Did not bring a gun. Is this of a third person? Yeah, I mean, at this point we just have to go through all of them.
This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus, only for Callus to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead.
Okay, third person Bart. Okay, I should read this. Jacques decided to give up his assassination plan and sought to protection from Callus instead. The third person barred into the scene and killed Jacques. They were about to kill Callus, and they were shot in turn by Callus when he used the gun. Alright, and then primordial water.
A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used by Jacques as a costume to disguise himself. But now, it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the scene, and that they were turned into water after committing the murder.
Proof or
Since
support?
it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use the rain to wash away all traces of their dissolved accomplice. Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus was responsible for Jacques' murder. This is the true version of events.
Is this the definitive true version, or is this the true version we're going with? I hate this. I'll be honest with you guys, I hate this. Not because it's a bad concept, but because I'm bad at this. So I hate it.
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all these years?
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other after all.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish to prove your innocence.
Ah, But I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine two things. One, do you have the evidence to back up your claims?
I'm afraid not. At least not at this very moment.
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should just go home!
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing around the same time, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time, regardless of age or gender.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reasonable investigative direction.
Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little differently today?
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last trial.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you described, then why didn't Mr. Callis explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved, he could have at least mounted a defense.
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt there were things that were more important to him. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearances case. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the grave. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth would allow the culprit to be brought to justice. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances case.
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our lives. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right. But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect anyone? Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have had no reason to exist. But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot, and restore my father's truth and honor back to him.
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die in the duelist's ring?
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clarand. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have to do anything for my sake. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth about his sacrifice.
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callis was intending to die?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate, and some even manic and twisted. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callis never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds to reopen this case.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearances case.
Right? What she said was fascinating, but kind of beside the point.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearances case?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of timing. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill Bolzjak and Callus. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And, at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing traits.
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present at both events? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
Know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations until I'm the only one left on the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see as your own daughter? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, let Uncle Marcel teach you another lesson. Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me anyways.
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, Demoiselle. This was my mistake.
No, it's not your fault. I'm sure he had come prepared.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case of the serial disappearances? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable anguish in your heart?
Seems like she got the wrong guy.
At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations right now? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwelling only on your own feelings. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things, you'd have met most of his expectations.
This isn't just about me, and it never has been. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth, while that same agency has long been taken from them. The people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people who suffered tragic ends due to their sense of justice. Many people's images are flashing before my eyes. I'm sure some are coming to those of you in the audience as well. And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher? Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that.
A little while earlier at the engine of the Swiss production base. Okay, well, we just got stuck in a little bit of a cutscene hell, and unfortunately this video, or this recording session, is almost an hour long. So I can either make this video an hour long, or I can try to extend it a little bit and split it into 2 videos, which is what I'll try to do. But indeed, don't forget, even though Marcelo is trying to say he's innocent, we do have reason to believe that at least one of 3 people, again, him and then the 2 other people, Florent and whatever the other person's name is, we have a reason to believe that one of them is the bad guy. And so, seems like we got the right guy. And of course he would be prepared for all that. But anyways, let's explore a little bit here. I think Navi did a pretty good job. I think they did a pretty good job of explaining everything, so I don't need to explain it, which is good. Just focus on our mission, getting evidence. But yeah, I just thought it was funny how am I gonna get healed from this? I think it's just funny how what's it called? The child got convicted and he was like, yeah, wait, hold up. An opportunity for me to fight? Hey, this might not be a bad thing. Might not be a bad thing.
Hey.
But yeah.
Stand with me.
Alright. Does this work? These guys are just standing still. What is this? Do I even have a good weapon right now? I think it's decent enough, right? But anyways. What is going on here?
The floor is going up!
Oh, it's like some kind of clockwork base.
Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. And of course, child, just like us, wants to fight the Hydra Archon. And then she's like friggin' pooping all the bricks. Indeed. Well, seems like we will just continue here. Hopefully I don't get stuck in another cutscene hell, because this video has already been too long. I should be okay recording like maybe 20 more minutes.
Paimon thinks we need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way.
Yeah.
Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up.
Yeah, again, I'll probably split this into 2 parts here then. How do I suck up these guys again? I forgot how I suck them up. That's what I do, right? Okay, I've sucked. Interesting. Okay, here's something. Break that. The statue. And then it looks like we can open a door from the other side or something. Or does this make something in the other room go up or down? Yeah, I don't want to make these videos too long because I am recording them on my laptop, which means I don't have the storage that I had when I recorded Genshin videos on the other machine. So it's pretty important that I don't make these videos too long.
The water level is rising. Now we can swim to the top.
But it's okay to make this first one long.
This is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Alright, Paimon, just wait. I'm trying to follow up all these like little yellow rhombuses. I'll eventually get it. Okay. Make sure I'm not missing any chests along the way too. That would be pretty bad.
Everyone hold hands. Dissipate.
Alright. I'm not really standing close to the enemy, so it's fine. Okay. Just fine. These enemies aren't that bad, honestly.
Stop right there.
Okay. Oh, there's another one. Alright, we got our chest. This probably makes the water level go up again, which is good. Yeah, I don't exactly want to trigger another cutscene, like a big cutscene. So I'll try to make my way to this dungeon, and then I'll cut it. I'll probably cut the video like before we enter that whole court scene. So I kind of want to make.
Now the path is clear. Let's go.
But I don't want to make the court scene video too short. So we kind of need to continue this video. Hopefully I can get something done here, or a decent amount done, but not trigger a huge cutscene that I'm stuck in. This place looks pretty nice though. Look at all these clockwork mechanisms. I may have missed a chest by the way too, because I just did 2 puzzles. No, we just got an exquisite chest from that. Okay, I think we should be good. That's the worst thing about these dungeons, is that they're like one time. Ooh, underwater. They're like one time, so like if you don't get the treasure. Is this not water? How am I not getting wet? It's very strange. Dawn resurrection activated. Let's take a peek at chest. There's a chest. I told you guys. I told you. One hydro sigil. Pretty important to be able to upgrade the fountain. All right. Okay. Well, that's convenient for us. We don't need to worry about making the bridge ourselves, unless the bridge just pulls apart right now. That would be pretty funny. All right. 2 guys here. 2 more guardians. Doesn't look like I'll trigger a cutscene if I beat these guys. We should be good.
Stand with me. Bombs away.
Ow.
Step on up.
More enemies triggered.
I see everything.
Lightning purified. Our bond is strong.
All right, just do a little bit more. Okay, we should be good here.
Over here.
Alright. Alright, got those enemies done. Let's go to this door slowly. Again, let's try to push this video a little bit longer without hitting cutscene, about getting another cutscene. And also, if I, play a lot in this video, the next video I don't need to play as a lot, and then we can have more concise videos. Okay, a little bit of a cutscene, fine.
After all that, we finally made it to the innermost sanctum. Though, as expected, the mastermind isn't here.
If I'm not mistaken, he's being charged by Navia as we speak.
That's right. Then let's hurry up and find some evidence so we can get back to the Opera House and help Navia.
We need evidence. Evidence. Okay. So this is Mastermind's base. Marcel. Anything here? Can we sit? No, we can't sit. Ooh, examine bookshelf.
Let's see what's written here. Nothing escapes Detective Paimon's eyes. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an investigation report on him.
It's probably related to his and Jacques' case.
Yep, it's about finding someone to assassinate Jacques and Callus because of a lack of confidence that Jacques himself would go through with it. This should prove the existence of the third person, right?
Oh, okay, so need to assassinate. So third person. Yeah, makes sense.
We still have not determined the exact content of the key information Callus has passed on to certain members of his organization. The old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he abides by the promise he's made to us, he will still have the upper hand. He can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable. The only option left is to remove him from the picture entirely. I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. He won't declare war as long as we don't touch Navia. Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups.
They planned as well in advance.
They're all just so evil.
Callus investigation report. Clues concerning the Callus case that were found inside a bookshop. Mastermind did not believe Jacques would be to do the deed, and thus sent a third person to ensure Callus' death. The content followed defined content motive to some extent. Okay, so could be Vache, right? Could be Vache right there. But I also have a question. There is a huge question about why? The whole thing about killing Callus, okay, sure, but what about the thing about like the whole missing people's disappearance case, right? Like, what's the whole point of that? Interesting. Interesting. The water is black. Let's do a little bit more investigation because it looks like we can investigate the pool. And yeah, let's check here.
What's all this? Aw, it's a bunch of really cute things. Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a Jacob box.
There's a name too. Are these Navia stuff?
Oh, Paimon sees it too, but why are all these cute things labeled with different girls' names?
Oh, they probably belong to the victims.
Huh? You mean the girls from the serial disappearances? They were brought here? And then they were turned into water. And all the boxes of things. These names. That means... Oh, this is terrible.
The missing bird possession. You discovered objects in the container labeled the names of all who don't own them within the depths of the HQ. The names here must have something to do with the victims at the serial disappearance case. Would be really nice to know what those names were. Charlotte, can you help us? My proof that this was their final stop. Alright, that's not creepy at all. But okay, that makes sense. I was gonna say, what does that have to do with the missing girls disappearance case? They were used as test subjects. Indeed. Well, we have one more. I think if I hold my middle mouse button, yeah, it does work. We have something over here. Examine bottles. Water bottles?
Whoa.
Oh, these
so
are
much
synth.
synth here. And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the waters of the primordial sea.
There is so many.
Mixing in progress. Ready to drink? Stock sample? Huh. They've also got all the synth pretty clearly labeled. Whoa, there's even fruit-flavored synth?
Paimon, I need you to put that down. Well, they definitely prove that this is where they produce synth.
Yep, it's super obvious.
Synth. Popular potion, circulating quite widely. It gives the drinker a quite pleasant experience for a short time, but side effects are equally strong. The producer of these special characteristics... the producer used these special characteristics to earn a massive profit from its trade. Examine experiment table. Can I craft? I would love to craft a potion right now, but I can't.
What's this over here? Looks like some kind of place for research. Experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob Ingold's research conclusions on the primordial sea and use his theory as a foundation to achieve a breakthrough. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimens 22, 23, and 24 were dissolved.
Calm down, Paimon.
Sorry, Traveler. Paimon will try her best. It's just that Paimon's never read something so scary before. How could someone write something that terrible in such a matter-of-fact tone? You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going.
The goal of the researcher is to save her lover, a woman called Vignier, who was dissolved. I'm starting to pick up the pieces, guys. I was gonna say, is it possible that the third person at the scene, the person whose clothes died, was Vache? But I'm starting to think that Vache might just straight up be Marcel, huh? Question mark? I totally forgot what the Oceanid person said about Vache, but it seems that to save his lover, a woman who was dissolved, that potentially was the Oceanid who was like yelling Vache at the fountain, right? Potentially?
So that's why he did all of these experiments. Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane!
There's another name here, Vache.
Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case.
No, he is the researcher.
You mean Vache is the one who did all of these... experiments?
Yes, he signed off a bunch of experiment reports. Why would you do that? Why would you not sign it off with like some kind of symbol, secret symbol that you need like a cipher for? Why would you just sign it with your name? That seems super dumb. But anyways, you know, it's the voice I heard from the fountain was probably Vignier.
So that's it. Vache was no victim, but personally took his lover and... No, that's not it either. If that's the case, why would he want people to resurface from the water?
Wait, did Vache test on his lover? Or did his lover die and thus he wanted to experiment on primordial water? Oh, I'm getting confused, guys. Again, I'm not exactly sure. I'm pretty bad at when it comes to this lore stuff, so I'm probably speaking nonsense. But there must be more to this than meets the eye.
In any case, Paimon will write it all down.
Vache's experiment books. Experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob Ingold's research conclusion on the primordial sea and use this theory as a foundation to achieve a breakthrough. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to research from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimens 22, 23, 24 were dissolved. There were many records like these. Okay, you know what? I think we made pretty good progress. I'm assuming after we talk and take a examine at this last thing, that would kind of maybe send us back and send us into more cutscene hell. So I kind of need to end the video here again. This video is going to be split into 2 parts. Or I mean, I should say this recording is going to be split into 2 parts. Where the first part is going to be before the court. And then the next part is going to be after the court. And then basically our little bit of exploration here. But we will continue next time. So guys, thank you so much for watching. And next time we will continue. And hopefully figure out what happened to Mr. Callus and how it connects with disappearing people in primordial seawater and stuff. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Alright, then my outro. Thank you so much for watching. You're beautiful the way you are, and I'll catch you in another Genshin Impact video.